Tell us about when you were growing up and the size of the church that you went to when you can first remember maybe going with your mother or grandmother.
Um, the size of the church probably was, and it was Peaks Chapel Baptist Church down on Old Salem Road. I guess maybe the congregation size may have been like 60, 70 people maybe. And we only met once a month. Um, and that was on the third Sunday in the month. And so here in Conyers and pretty much around the surrounding areas, Newton County and Rockdale County, most of the churches only met once a month. And if you wanted to go to church every Sunday, if you were Baptist, you had to go to a different church. And so my father was Methodist, so he had service every Sunday. But that's what it was. It was a small church. You knew everybody. And many times there were people who would sing in the choir, who would be on the deacon board, that were not even members of the church, but you thought they were because they were there every third Sunday. Most of the pastors didn't live in Conyers. They lived somewhere else, and they pastored multiple churches. So every Sunday they were going to a different church. And but it was mostly a family church. Most of the families, and it probably started with families living in that community with farms and what have you, so that they could walk to church. And so if you look at the structure of the churches in Rockdale County now, most of the historical black churches that are here, there were farm groups or sharecroppers that were around those churches, so people could just walk to church on Sundays.
In my town where I grew up, there were three churches. You
Mm-hmm.
went to one of those three churches, or you didn't go to church in town. Now there's a church in the shopping center. There's a church. There's 50, 60 churches. What, if anything, in your opinion, has that taken away from people's relationship with God, or has it helped and influenced it at all?
In some ways, I think it's helped. Now, here's my take on that. Um, and I know this is kind of negative when I say this, but I think churches are kind of like hamburger establishments. The reason why I use that analogy is this: many people like hamburgers, but some people like McDonald's, some like Burger King, some like Checkers, some like Wendy's, or Hardee's or whatever. They all serve burgers, but they serve them different ways. And people like their burgers cooked different ways. So people are looking for different things in different churches. So I don't really think that it's taken away. I think the one of the things that I think that even in some of the small churches that is a problem today, we don't have the time to get to know people. We don't build strong relationships in most of our churches, whether they're small or large. And I think that's what's taken away from what's going on today in our churches. Back when I was coming along, everybody knew about everybody, and you knew everybody's family and all of that. So, if anything, I think that what has happened is not necessarily because of mega churches or having so many churches. I just think that people just don't have a desire to get to know people like we did back in the day.